Now at 6 o'clock on WKYT this morning, Lexington police are investigating a deadly overnight shooting, and they're still searching for the suspected shooter. We're live with the latest on the investigation.
Nations around the world are reacting to Britain's vote to leave the European Union. We're taking a look at the fallout ahead.
And today is Lexington's Pride Festival. The community will celebrate diversity and honor the victims of the Orlando attack. That's ahead on WKYT this morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good Saturday morning to you. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Michelle Chamberlain.
And I'm Sean Moody. Looks like it's going to be pretty warm, kind of muggy Saturday out there.
Yes, I was hearing Mike's forecast, and he's calling for some hot weather. Right, Mike?
To say the least, hot might be an understatement as we work our way from today and into tomorrow afternoon. The good news is condition-wise, it's going to be pretty, at least look pretty. There won't be much cloud cover getting in the way, at least today. That could change a little bit as we head into tomorrow, but a warm front already beginning to work its way in from the west, ushering in that warm Gulf of Mexico air. But what's important to remember this time of year, it's the humidity that's going to make things feel uncomfortable. Right now, we have a ways to go to where we'll be this afternoon, the mid-60s as we get our Saturday started. It won't be until this afternoon that temperatures make a run at the lower 90s, and with that humidity, things will feel more like the mid-90s. So needless to say, I'm tracking a hot weekend that might feature heat index readings up near 100 degrees at times. Coming up, I'll take you hour by hour and show you when the hottest time of the weekend will be.
Mike, thank you. New this morning, Lexington police are investigating a deadly shooting.
Yeah, police say the man was found in a parking lot behind the Continental Square Apartments off of Eastland Parkway and Winchester Road. WKYT's Mike Byers live in Lexington with the latest on the investigation. Mike?
Good morning, Michelle. The deadly shooting happened just before 3 this morning, so that was about 3 hours ago, and there's still a heavy police presence here. The coroner is on scene as well. Here's what we know right now. Police responded to reports of shot fired just before 3 this morning. They say when they arrived on scene, they found a man in the parking lot who had been shot. Police tell us that man has died from his injuries. Now, details are still somewhat foggy this morning, but police tell us a motorcycle may have been involved and fled the scene shortly after the shooting. Officers also believe the person shot was on a motorcycle. Now, police say they are still in the early stages of their investigation. They're currently talking to witnesses who live here. Now, the name of the person has not been released, nor have any details about any possible shooter. If we learn of any breaking details, we'll be sure to update you online, on air, and through our mobile news app. Live in Lexington, Mike Byer, WKYT.
Mike, thank you. Witnesses said they watched in horror, then rushed to help the victim in a deadly Scott County crash. It happened on Cherry Blossom Way near Timberland Way in Georgetown yesterday afternoon. It was right about the time the Toyota plant had a shift change. Police say a Tahoe and a Blue Highlander collided, then the Tahoe and a semi-truck hit head-on. We're told the Tahoe landed on its roof and the driver was trapped underneath. Emergency crews, with the help of more than a dozen strangers, lifted the car off that driver, but he was later pronounced dead at the hospital. His name has not been released as of this morning. Federal authorities have arrested a man who they say put explosives in trail cameras in Harlan County. Mark Sawaf has been charged with possession of an unregistered firearm and making an illegal firearm. That's according to our news partners at the Lexington Herald-Leader. Investigators say one of the trail cameras exploded, causing a man to lose some of his fingers. Investigators said they've tied Sawaf to that camera and 2 other cameras that had explosives. The newspaper says he's a licensed counselor with offices in Harlan and Lexington.
A fire caused some damage to a home in Lexington. The fire started at a home on Dakota Street off West 7th. Firefighters say the homeowner was doing some work in a crawl space and somehow sparked the fire. They say everyone got out of the home safely and they put the fire out within 20 minutes. Firefighters say the home has minor damage.
In international news this morning, the world is reacting to Britain's vote to leave the European Union. Moody's Investor Services has downgraded the UK's credit rating outlook to negative.
CBS's Kitty Logan is in London with the fallout from the Brexit vote.
The financial ramifications of Britain's exit from the European Union began even as the votes were being counted. The British pound began falling in value overnight and would end at its lowest level against the dollar since 1985. The world markets followed suit as investors panicked. By the time the markets closed in New York, the Dow had lost more than 600 points. The political ramifications were swift as well, with British Prime Minister David Cameron announcing he's resigning in light of his failure to keep the country in the EU.
I think the country requires fresh leadership to take it in this direction.
Boris Johnson, the face of the Leave campaign, is now the front runner to replace Cameron at 10 Downing Street.
We now have a glorious opportunity. We can pass our laws and set our taxes entirely according to the needs of the UK.
President Obama says the US and the UK will work together to try to keep the global economy growing.
I'm confident that the UK is committed to an orderly transition out of the EU.
But an orderly transition is not what Scotland wants.
Scotland faces the prospect of being taken out of the EU against our will.
Scottish leaders say they will look into ways to stay in the EU without England, or the country could vote for independence from the UK. Kitty Logan for CBS News, London.
Scotland's First Minister says it's likely, highly likely, the country will hold another independence referendum. Scotland narrowly voted to remain a part of the UK in 2014, at least in part because the EU threatened to kick Scotland out of the Union if it went independent. Back here in the States, the Lone Star state of Texas is considering standing on its own. Some there are considering Texit after Britain's exit of the EU. The reality is the Supreme Court has already ruled it is not possible, but that's not stopping people from having fun with the idea. Others say there's a different reason Texas will stick with the rest of the U.S.
Well, the rest of the country would like to have the barbecue that we have in Texas, that's for sure.
The rest of the country won't let us break away because of our barbecue.
An associate professor at the LBJ School of Public Affairs says if Texas did leave the U.S., it would complicate everything from recreational travel to business.
And to barbecue, obviously.
You can't leave that.
Yeah, for sure. 6:07 now on your Saturday morning. Here in central Kentucky, there are plenty of events going on your Saturday.
Here's a look at what's happening today. You can walk around Kentucky and raise money for epilepsy. Registration starts at 9 o'clock this morning at Keeneland at barn number 2. The walk starts just after 10. Walkers must raise at least $25 to participate in the walk, and this is the largest fundraiser for the Epilepsy Foundation of Kentuckiana. Their goal is to raise $35,000.
Today is Lexington's Pride Festival. It's a time for the community to celebrate diversity. Festival organizers have planned a tribute for the victims of the Orlando shooting. There will be a musical tribute after a moment of silence at 2 o'clock today and a proclamation from Mayor Jim Gray. Lexington police are also partnering with organizers for added security.
Today is a free dental care day for thousands of veterans across the country, including right here in Kentucky. From 9 to 3, veterans can get free dental care at Aspen Dental locations in Somerset and Lexington. You can call to make an appointment at the number you see on your screen.
And Georgetown is debuting its Seed to Feed dinner series featuring local food. Local Feed will host a kickoff for the series today at Royal Spring Park from 11 to 3. They'll have a hog roast, live music, and beer poured by Country Boy Brewing. All the food there is locally grown in Scott County, and all the money from the dinner series goes back to support the county.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff going on. It'll be a nice and hot day for all that, too. 6:08 now on your Saturday morning, and WKYT This Morning is just getting started.
Lexington firefighters have some advice that could help you in case of a fire. That advice coming up this morning.
And that Mega Millions jackpot just keeps on growing. We'll look at the latest total and have last night's winning numbers for you after Mike's forecast.
Well, right now we're having temperatures in the mid-60s, but we've got a ways to go from where we'll end up this weekend. Coming up, I'll show you how hot it will be as we make a run at the triple digits.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Mike Linden.
Welcome to the weekend. It is going to truly be a hot one as we get into both Saturday afternoon and Sunday afternoon. So if you have plans to be outside, well, you've got to be sure to plan ahead. Be sure to drink plenty of water, of course, wear sunscreen, or just limit your time outside to direct sunlight because it's going to prove to be quite an issue this weekend. Right now, not really seeing very much cloud cover. That's the thing. It's going to look great this weekend, but as far as the feel goes, it's not going to feel as nice as it looks. Heat and humidity makes a comeback in a big way with this warm front ushering in that warm Gulf of Mexico air from the southwest that's going to really push our temperatures into the afternoon. Of course, we've got a ways to go from where we are right now. Very comfortable outside right now. A little muggy, but regardless, the mid-60s is where we start off our Saturday afternoon. As we get into the middle of the day, though, those temperatures skyrocket into the upper 80s and lower 90s. Now, this is not the heat index. This is what your thermometer should say, if not a little bit hotter. 91 degrees for most of central Kentucky out there today. But remember, as this humidity works its way back into the bluegrass, that's really going to push our heat index readings higher into the mid to high 90s and potentially even the triple digits for both Saturday and for Sunday. Remember, with the added moisture, it's going to make things feel hotter than what the thermometer indicates. Here's a look at how that's going to play out over the course of your weekend. As we get into the afternoon today, most spots will be right around the mid to low 90s, which is going to feel quite humid. Moving into your Sunday, though, this is really the day that jumps out at you. Now, the models might be overcooking this just a little bit, but regardless, these are some eye-popping numbers for heat index readings tomorrow afternoon. 97 for Lexington, 98 for the state capital, and how about 102 and even a 103 there for Bowling Green? So western Kentucky really heating up into tomorrow afternoon, but most of central Kentucky tomorrow is going to not be far behind the upper 90s and potentially even the lower triple digits for central Kentucky. So, of course, with this added moisture in the air, that means things are going to feel quite muggy, and muggy itself might be a bit of an understatement. Today will actually be the best of the next few as that tropical moisture returns into Sunday and Monday. So if you've ever been to the Gulf states before, whether it be Alabama, Florida, that's what it's going to feel like here in Kentucky the next several days, and with it, even a chance for some stormy weather tomorrow evening. Regardless, look at those high temperatures. That's not the heat index. Those are your high temperatures, the low 90s for the next few days, and that moisture are going to make things feel even hotter into your Sunday afternoon.
It's a just very sticky looking forecast.
Summer is here, and I'm sure most people that were really wishing for it might be wanting it to go away, at least for a little bit, at least to calm down a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much, Mike.
Well, you can pick your numbers and hope for a winner, right? That Mega Millions jackpot is
lucky. It's a good day for you, right?
$390 million it's up to now.
That's crazy. That's up $27 million from last night's total. Many people stopped by the Dairy Mart off Reynolds Road in Lexington in hopes of buying a lucky ticket for the jackpot. The owner of the store told us they've had their fair share of lucky winners.
Yeah, the winning numbers for last night's drawing of that Mega Millions jackpot were 11, 14, 54, 57, 63, and 11. The Mega Plier number is 5. So far, we haven't heard if there's been a winner or winners just yet.
And tonight's Powerball jackpot is $203 million. And like we said earlier, Tuesday night's Mega Millions jackpot is now up to $390 million.
A lot of money up for grabs there. 616.
Lucky, go to the store, right?
Oh, yeah. 6:16 now on your Saturday morning. And when WKYT this morning returns.
When a fire starts, you need every second you can get to make sure you get out safely. Lexington firefighters have some advice for you when we come back.
Welcome back. It's a frightening statistic. Most deadly fires happen in the middle of the night. Because of that, Lexington firefighters have some advice that could add valuable time to your escape.
Yeah, I know it's a scary thought for many parents. Miranda Combs tells us what you should know before you turn the lights off.
Time is probably hard to measure. Something like this happens.
The bottom line is it could happen to anyone at any time.
But there are times when it's more likely to happen.
The majority of fire fatalities occur between 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. when people are presumably asleep and they just aren't aware that their home is on fire.
We went with firefighter Jessica Bowman.
So this is our smoke trailer that we use for training.
Inside a fire simulator, they use this to train.
And we always teach about how you want to keep anything flammable away from your kitchen stove area.
Show kids how to react when smoke is everywhere.
We have a smoke simulator in here. Smoke is going to rise, and then when it hits the ceiling, it's going to spread out and mushroom back down.
But we were here to see how one simple routine can add seconds, even minutes during a fire.
Typically, the difference is going to be hundreds of degrees.
Here's the proof. On the left is the inside of a bedroom door. On the right is the same door on the side of the fire.
The door is an effective barrier to keep the smoke and heat out of that room. And it's not going to buy you forever, but it will buy you precious, valuable minutes.
And it gives the smoke alarm time to alert you of the danger coming your way, delayed only slightly by a closed bedroom door.
The average residential hollow core door, it doesn't have a fire rating, but it's still an effective barrier.
And an extra hurdle for a fast-moving fire.
The combination of a working smoke alarm and a closed bedroom door is going to buy you a lot of time in a fire, and 30 seconds can make a big difference in a fire.
So the time it takes to shut a door could save a life.
Good stuff to know. Bowman also says every family needs to practice their escape routes at least twice a year. And remember, smoke alarms are only good for 10 years, so make sure yours are up to date and working.
Yeah, and if you're a parent worried about being able to hear your kids during the night, Bowman says that's where baby monitors come in handy. And she also said maybe leave their door open until they fall asleep, then close it before you go to bed.
Good stuff to know.
6:21 now on your Saturday. There's still more to come.
Sports is next.
Well, the weekend is here, and if you have any plans to spend time outside, think again, at least in the sense where you might want to think what you bring with you. A bottle of water, sunscreen, and a hat certainly going to come into play here and tomorrow, in fact, for the next few days beyond that. A look at Defender right now, just not finding very much of any cloud cover, nor do we expect to find anything significant out there, at least today. We could see some storm development tomorrow, but a warm front already bringing in that warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico that's going to skyrocket these temperatures as we head into this afternoon and tomorrow. Right now, probably the best temperatures that you're going to find all weekend, the mid-60s, a few spots even cooler than that. Madison County 64 along with Pulaski County. It is feeling slightly muggy outside right now. There's some very light fog at the horizon, but nothing that really should impact your driving around into this afternoon. But as that heat and humidity returns from the southwest, that's going to not only push those temperatures higher into the mid to low 90s, but heat index readings are going to become that much more uncomfortable, and that's going to be across the state. Most spots feeling like they're in the mid-90s, despite most spots settling in to the lower 90s this afternoon. So, of course, one of the best activities that you can do to beat the heat is take a dip in the pool, because 91 degrees for your high temperature out there with the humidity, it's certainly going to feel like a pool day in the bluegrass. Sports is up next.
Thursday night, the Denver Nuggets happy to get sharpshooter Jamal Murray with the 7th overall pick in the NBA draft. Murray's just 19. What a pup. Played only one season at Kentucky. The last time the Nuggets drafted a freshman player, they took Carmelo Anthony.
No, just great. He's a great player. Great to be in that same conversation, already. I just want to continue to prove myself and, make those statements true.
How did the University of Kentucky prepare you in the one season for the NBA?
Fine-tune my game, limit turnovers, more efficiency, better shot selection, kind of a more relaxed, calmer game, kind of like a silent killer, I'd say.
Silent killer, Scalabissiere. He had to wait a long time, falling all the way to number 28 in the draft. The Suns then traded him to the Kings. Scala is thankful that he learned one valuable lesson at UK.
Mental toughness, that's all. I can say that Kentucky prepared me as far as that, my mental toughness. That was the most important thing that I got from Kentucky.
It's a Hall of Fame kind of weekend in Cincinnati. Pete Rose, the hit king, 42-56. He will be inducted into the Reds Hall of Fame today. Last night, the 1976 Reds were honored at Great American Ballpark, the 40th anniversary of the greatest team in Reds history who swept the Phillies and the Yankees in postseason play. And the Houston Astros, how about this? They have called up former UK slugger A.J. Reed. He will play later tonight against the Kansas City Royals. In the minors, Reed, he's just 23 years old. He was batting .349 over his previous 10 games. He hitting .292 in 30 games since returning from a hamstring injury last year in the minors. Hit 34 homers with 127 RBI. How about you, A.J. Reed? Congratulations and good luck. That's a look at sports. Enjoy your weekend.
Now at 6:30 on WKYT this morning, Lexington police are investigating a deadly overnight shooting. They're still searching for the suspected shooter. We're live with the latest on that investigation.
And today, Lexington will celebrate diversity during its Pride Festival and also honor the victims of the Orlando attack. We'll take a look at what's planned coming up.
And people in Boyle County will protest this morning over a city ordinance not allowing any decorations on grave sites at the city cemetery. That's ahead on WKYT this morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning and happy weekend to you. Thanks for joining us. I'm Sean Moody.
And I'm Michelle Chamberlain. Yeah, thanks so much for joining us on this Saturday, what is to be a very hot Saturday.
Yeah, a little bit of a muggy start to the weekend. Mike Linden is standing by in the First Alert Weather Center. How's it looking right now, Mike?
Sean, right now might be the best time to get out, especially if you want things to stay cool, because as we head into the afternoon, there's really no stopping these temperatures. Looking at the First Alert Defender radar network here, not too much going on. Cloud cover not going to be much of a factor as we head into our afternoon today. We take a look at the big picture here, and a warm front coming in from the west will usher in some of the hottest and moist air that we have experienced so far this season. That's going to not only push these temperatures back into the lower 90s, but it's going to make things feel that much hotter. Today, going to feel like the mid 90s, and tomorrow feel like the upper 90s, potentially even triple digits. So it's safe to say it will be hot this weekend. And coming up, I'll take you hour by hour and show you when will be the hottest times of the weekend.
Mike, thank you. New this morning, Lexington police are investigating a deadly shooting.
Police say a man was found in a parking lot behind the Continental Square apartments off Eastland Parkway and Winchester Road. WKYT's Mike Byer is live in Lexington with the latest on the investigation. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Michelle. The coroner just left the scene not too long ago, but there is still a heavy police presence here at the Continental Square apartments. Here's what we know right now. Police responded to a report of shots fired just before 3 this morning. Police say when they arrived on scene, they found a man in the parking lot who had been shot. Police tell us that man has died from his injuries. The details are still somewhat foggy at this point, but police tell us a motorcycle may have been involved and fled the scene shortly after the shooting. Officers also believe the person shot was on a motorcycle. Now, police are still in the early stages of their investigation. They're currently talking to people who live at the apartments. Now, the name of the victim has not been released, nor of any details about a shooter. Of course, if we learn of any breaking details, we will update you on air, online, and through our mobile news app. Live in Lexington, Mike Byer, WKYT.
Mike, thank you. Also new this morning, Lexington police are searching for 3 men who they say robbed 2 other men. This happened downtown in the 200 block of Eastern Avenue right around 3 o'clock this morning. Police say 2 men got out of a car when 3 men, all of them with handguns, came up to them and demanded money. We're told the 3 suspected robbers ran away toward 3rd Street. Police say no one was hurt, but they are still searching for the 3 men. Police tell us those 3 will face robbery charges once they're caught.
Today is the day for Lexington's Pride Festival. It's a time for the community to celebrate diversity. Attendance is expected to be up, and so is security after the mass shooting that killed 49 people at a gay nightclub in Orlando. Festival organizers have planned a tribute for those victims. The musical tribute will begin after a moment of silence at 2 today. A proclamation from the mayor, Jim Gray, will follow.
We're going to have a musical tribute that will involve the whole community. So I urge everybody to come down and be able to respectfully commemorate the victims and the cause.
Lexington police are partnering with event staff for added security.
Hundreds of people gathered in Orlando dressed in white, lighting candles to hear music of inspiration and hope after the mass shooting that left 49 people dead. For the first time in public, one of the survivors of the attack walked on stage in front of the crowd, and Orlando's mayor surprised them by introducing 8 survivors of the Boston Marathon bombing.
It's so symbolic that they would come down and offer love and support. So tremendous that they're down here.
To be able to share some of the stories and what they're going to be facing over the course of the next months or years, we're here for them like others were there for us.
The 8 Boston survivors will be meeting with survivors of the Pulse nightclub shooting over the weekend. In West Virginia, the death toll rises as the waters go down. Authorities now say at least 23 people have died from devastating floods over the past few days. Others are still missing. The governor of West Virginia says at least 100 homes have been damaged or destroyed, and many roads and bridges have been washed out.
More than 500 people were stranded at a West Virginia shopping center after floodwaters destroyed the only bridge leading to it. The National Guard came in to build a temporary bridge so everyone who was trapped could leave. Those people had been stranded for more than 24 hours.
In California, authorities say 2 people have died while trying to escape wildfires there. They say the 2 victims were outside their house when they were overcome by smoke. Firefighters are checking burned homes to make sure there aren't any more victims inside. They say one of the wildfires has now grown to nearly 47 square miles and has destroyed 80 homes so far. Stocks are down this morning after the United Kingdom's vote to leave the European Union. The Dow lost more than 600 points, and other world markets lost even more. The British pound fell to its lowest level against the dollar in more than 30 years. British Prime Minister David Cameron also announced he'll resign. President Obama says the U.S. will continue working with the U.K. to keep the global economy growing.
University of Kentucky President Eli Capilouto has received a contract extension, which includes a large pay raise. The UK Board of Trustees approved a 3-year extension, which takes Capilouto's contract through June of 2021. He'll receive a base salary increase from $535,000 to $790,000, which is a 48% increase. This comes as the board also approved a budget for the upcoming academic year, which includes a proposed 5% increase in tuition for in-state students. Capilouto's pay raise has some students upset.
Well, 48% is kind of a lot. Other than that, it should be going to other places in the school, and 48% for him, that's kind of an outrageous kind of raise.
UK leaders say the board raised Capilouto's salary after reviewing presidential salaries at other Southeastern Conference schools.
In Pulaski County, there will be a candlelight vigil Monday night to remember a 10-year-old boy who police say was hit and killed by a hit-and-run driver. Stanley Turner died Monday after a car hit him on Rocklick Creek Road in Pulaski County. Police have not been able to find the driver. Some friends of Stanley's family are planning the vigil. They say they wanted to do something to show support for his family.
To let everyone know just how much this little boy was loved, and to show the family that they're not alone, that we're all together.
The vigil will start at 7:30 Monday night in a parking lot next to the Science Hill Post Office.
Some people in Boyle County plan on protesting over an ordinance that won't allow decorations on grave sites at the city cemetery. Decorations have already been removed from the cemetery and placed in a trailer behind the Junction City Hall. The city ordinance passed in 2014 says no items other than headstones will be allowed in the cemetery. But relatives say that ordinance hasn't been enforced until recently, and they're upset.
He said that the workers were here taking items off of the graves, and they made him take up my grandfather's flag.
How would they feel if that was their child? How would they feel if that was their spouse? How would they feel if that was their mother or father?
Junction City Mayor Jim Douglas said he could not comment on the removal of the items other than to say the ordinance was very clear. Still, the group plans on meeting at the cemetery this morning to place flowers and flags on graves. Then they're heading to City Hall for what they're calling a peaceful protest.
Delta flyers at the Cincinnati Northern Kentucky International Airport saw plenty of picket signs. The pilots were on that picket line not to strike, but because they want a new contract. They picketed there at CVG and at 7 other airports. The pilots said they've been waiting 5 months now for Delta to wrap up negotiations.
This morning, Lexington police are looking for 3 men they say worked together to steal 9 guitars at music stores around the city. Police have arrest warrants for Jeremy Hager and Jerrison Banks, but they don't know the third suspect's name. Surveillance video from one of the stores, Will Cut Guitar Shop, shows 2 men walking in last Saturday, looking at some guitars and even playing one of them. But at one point, the 2 men ran out the back door with the guitar.
We have excellent security cameras, and this should be a deterrent for people because they will be photographed very well.
Lexington police say the stolen guitars are worth thousands of dollars, and they say they found 6 of them so far.
Rupp Arena is getting ready for its 40th anniversary this year, and it's all hands on deck there. Arena leaders are hosting a job fair today so they can be prepared for a busy event season. Starting in October, when Rupp Arena reopens, they'll need to fill over 300 seasonal positions. Leaders say the 40th anniversary season will have concerts, family events, and of course, sports. Today's job fair is from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. there at Rupp. The new Ark Encounter Park opens in Grant County in less than 2 weeks now. Park leaders are still looking to fill nearly 400 seasonal positions there. The park will have a job fair at the Crittenden Baptist Association on Main Street in Williamstown. That'll be Thursday from 4 o'clock till 8. The Ark Encounter opens on July 7th.
Today is the second annual Frankfurt River Blast. There's all kinds of stuff going on today. A 3K race, paddling races, live music, food, beer, art, and a car show. There's even boat rides, fireworks, fishing tournaments, and of course much more. It all starts at 11 this morning at the Riverview Park in Frankfurt. Admission is $5. A new outdoor summertime concert series continues tonight. Lakeside Live runs Friday and Saturday nights through August over at Lexington Green. Ben Lacey and Alan McKenzie are playing tonight. The concert starts at 6 and runs through 8. There will be local food and drink vendors at the concert as well. And I went there last Friday.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
they've made some changes to Lexington Green. It's beautiful what they've done.
Great setting there, and hopefully some good weather. We know it'll be good weather. A little
Yeah,
hot and muggy,
a little
but
hot though, right?
that'll work. 6:41 now on your Saturday morning. There's still plenty more ahead.
There's adventure everywhere, including in Laurel County. We'll look at the county's newest attraction ahead on WKYT this morning.
Get ready for what is going to be one of the hottest weekends that we have experienced so far this year. Coming up, I'll break down how hot it should feel today and tomorrow.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with Mike Linden.
Welcome to the weekend, and get ready for what is going to be one of the hottest weekends of 2016 so far, and that might be underselling it a little bit because it is going to feel uncomfortable if you do not like the heat. A look across Kentucky, and there is one common theme this morning. It's a little muggy out there. Foggy early on in Lexington. You want to talk about literally seeing the mugginess? We're looking toward the downtown area. It's a little hard to see it through all of the very light fog this morning. But regardless, that is moisture in the air, ready to make things feel uncomfortable as we head into our afternoon. Right now on the Defender Radar Network, not finding very much, nor do we expect to find very much into the afternoon. That's kind of the catch-22 with a day like today. It's going to look really great, but it's not really going to feel so great if you go outside. But of course, it's the summer. You want to spend time outside. But as a warm front works its way into the bluegrass from the southwest, that's going to usher in this warm tropical moisture from the Gulf of Mexico and make things feel uncomfortable for us as we get into the afternoons. Now, right now, while it doesn't look so great, this is the best feel of the day by far that you'll have all day long, the mid-60s. So comfortable, to say the least, as we get our morning started early on in the bluegrass, because once we get past this morning, we see those temperatures skyrocket into the lower 90s. Bear in mind, this is what your thermometer should say, not with the heat index. This will be the temperature, the lower 90s, and we're staying in the mid-80s regardless, almost all day long after the mid-afternoon. So that humid air from the Gulf of Mexico continues to work its way in from the southwest, and it's going to find a home right here in the Midwest. Now, what that's going to do is make those mid-90s feel closer to the triple digits. Of course, it is now officially the summer, and it is going to feel a lot like it here the next few days. Take a look at this. This is your hour-by-hour heat index, and we're going to fast forward to 4 or 5 o'clock today, and here's your heat index readings. Not so much different from what the thermometers will indicate, but regardless, still pretty hot. The lower 90s for your heat index highs out there. But look what happens as we head into Sunday. As that warm front from the west gets a little closer to us and allows for that subtropical moisture to really tap in, we see those heat index readings jump up significantly. The upper 90s, even the low triple digits. 97 for Lexington, 98 for Frankfurt. And how about Jefferson County in western Kentucky? The triple digits, 102 and 103. That looks to be pretty common. So it's safe to say that here on the Muggy Meter for today through the next few days, Well, today might actually be the best of the next few, even though we're looking at oppressive humidity both Sunday and Monday. If you've ever been to Alabama before, it's going to feel a lot like it here in Kentucky the next few days, with temperatures, let alone the heat index, with temperatures in the lower 90s. The chance for some storms returns tomorrow. Of course, with tropical moisture, does mean the chance for some thunderstorms. So if you're planning on heading out today, do the smart thing. Be sure to bring a water bottle with you wherever you go, and maybe even just limit your time outside, at least from staying in direct sunlight all day long.
Hot stuff, Mike Linden.
You talking about the temperature, or what are you talking about?
Of course, the weather, right?
Oh, of course, the weather.
Thanks, Mike. If you're feeling adventurous, you can now swing from treetops in Laurel County.
Look at that, looks like fun. The Treetop Adventure Park is now open at Levi Jackson State Park. It features a 5-trail, 6-element, 60-element course that covers 5 acres.
You have short zip lines, you have obstacle bridges, you have vertical bridges that you have to climb, you have obstacles that you might have to climb through something or over something.
Looks neat. The Adventure Park costs $26 for people 10 and older, but if you live in Laurel County, you only have to pay $18. Would you do this?
You know, I've got a little bit of a heights thing, but as long as you're strapped to something, I guess I'd be willing to give it a shot. That looks, that tightrope deal, that's unbelievable. I don't know. I'd give it a shot. What would you do?
I would never do the tightrope or the zip line.
Yeah.
I would watch you do it.
You'd be the one taking pictures?
I'll take pictures. Yeah. There you go.
Sounds
and
good.
You could wear your little GoPro.
It's a WKYT This Morning outing. We'll make it happen. 6:48 on your Saturday morning.
Your time is, did you just say the time? You did.
I did.
So I shouldn't say it. We'll take a look at your money when we come back.
Important news for diabetic patients and how you can own a piece of Donald Trump memorabilia. I'm Karina Mitchell with those stories coming up in your CBS Money Watch report.
Welcome back. Investors are waiting to see how Brexit will impact Wall Street.
And the nation's largest health insurers cutting options for diabetics. Karina Mitchell has the latest on your money.
Anxious investors are waiting to see what further impact Asian and European markets have on Wall Street in the wake of Britain's landmark vote to exit the European Union. Starting July 1st, the nation's largest health insurer is cutting the number of options available for insulin pumps for diabetics. Patients on many United Health Group plans will be restricted to only 3 choices instead of 9. The move comes in an attempt to cut costs and improve care. The change is angering some patients, however, who say choice is important. And a diamond engagement ring that Donald Trump gave to his second wife, Marla Maples, is set to be auctioned in New York City on Wednesday. The 7.45-carat Harry Winston emerald cut ring is estimated to fetch about $300,000. Maples previously auctioned the ring after she and the business mogul divorced back in 1999. At that time, it sold for $110,000. And that's your Money Watch. For more, log on to CBSMoneyWatch.com. In New York, I'm Karina Mitchell.
Welcome back. 6:55 now on your Saturday morning. It's a busy Saturday across Kentucky. Nice day out there with those pretty warm temperatures and all kinds of stuff going on. Michelle Chamberlain has a look at what's happening.
Thank you, Sean. Today, Rupp Arena leaders are hosting a job fair ahead of their busy 40th anniversary event season. Starting in October, when Rupp Arena reopens, over 300 seasonal positions need to be filled. Today's job fair is from 10 to 2 p.m. at Rupp Arena. And today is the Children's Charity Classic Golf Tournament. You'll be able to watch it right here on WKYT starting at 3 this afternoon.
Summer is in full effect today and into tomorrow. Get ready for the heat because temperature-wise we'll be back into the mid to low 90s, but with the added humidity to the air, it's going to feel more like the mid to high 90s today, and especially so tomorrow. Could even be making a run at the triple digits tomorrow. At least that's what it's going to feel like. The chance for storms returns tomorrow evening, and if you plan on being outside today, well, just be sure to have plenty of water with you. If you're going swimming, as it should be a great day to do so, you can easily become dehydrated just by hanging out in the sunshine. So be sure to, again, drink plenty of water, wear your sunscreen, and wear a hat if you easily burn, because today there will be a lot of sunshine out there for you. So the heat index readings will be almost out of control today and tomorrow. Summer is here, and in a big, big way.
And these are the days that you're thinking about all through January, February. If we can just make it till June, we're there now.
Just to cool down a little bit now. It's so easily how
find that happy medium. Nobody's more up to date than you to start the day.
Have a great day, and we'll be back with more news just ahead.